may have. And then if you have specific things on your quiz, after that I'll go around and then you guys will take your test. So for number 1A, the polynomials that were in standard form were these two. Reminder that polynomials has two definitions, the umbrella term of everything and the specific definition. So when it says all polynomials, it's just talking about which ones in general. So the first one is because there's only one variable, highest degree to lowest. The last one is because it starts with ABC order and then goes highest exponent to lowest with x's and then switches to y's. And then the two that were not, you have to rewrite those. So the second one would be, let me write, 8x to the fourth minus 5x squared y squared. Make sure you guys are fixing this if you made this mistake so you don't make the same mistake on the test. Minus 7xy plus 3y to the fourth. And the other one was 2c to the third plus 3c squared plus 5c plus 4. So the 4 points up here were, did you get the correct ones and not choose the incorrect ones? And then the 2 points down here, did you fix the two correctly? For a total of 6. Questions on any of that? On the second part, most of us got this. There were some slight issues, but this one should have been a cubic binomial. The order in which you put that did not matter. A quadratic trinomial. A quadratic binomial. And then a linear binomial. Those were right or wrong for a total of 8 points. Questions on those? Then, some of you did not make this mistake, but some other classes did, so I'm just going to talk about it in general for all classes. What should have happened here is multiply the exponents together to get x to the third, y to the fourth. And then same thing here on the inside. And then a common mistake here was we distributed the 5, but distributing only works if there's a plus or a minus in between, so we can't distribute the 5, we can just multiply the 5 to this whole term, which means you're just multiplying it to the term out in front. So there shouldn't be 2 5s there. You also shouldn't be separating it because they weren't adding, they're multiplying. And then because these have the same exponents, you should be combining like terms by adding the coefficients together. And the exponent shouldn't change. So your final answer was 6x to the third, y to the fourth. So the points there were, did you get this term correct, and the final answer? Questions on that?
Why didn't the 5 distribute to the y to the 4?
We can't distribute because we're not adding or subtracting. We can multiply the 5 to the 4. That's it. This is one entire term. If you were adding or subtracting in between, then you can multiply it to both. Right. 4, you should have recognized the x's to be scientific notation. So we are multiplying the 4 and the 6 together, and then adding the exponents, since these are like bases. But when you get here, this is not an actual scientific notation, so we have to rewrite this. The decimal place is at the end, so we'd be moving it to the left and adding 1 to the exponent. Then we are dividing this, so we should actually be dividing 2.4 and 5, not subtracting. To get 0.48, and then subtracting the exponents. And then again, this is not an actual scientific notation, so we have to change it once more, move the decimal place to the right, and subtract from the exponent. So the 4 points there were, did you get this number and this exponent correct, and the final number and this exponent correct? If you had extra things in there, or you changed it to standard form, you should not have done that. Questions on that?
How did you like move the decimal and get the 17 and stuff?
So remember the mnemonic Lars. If you move it to the left, you're adding to the exponent. If you move it to the right, you're subtracting the exponent. But in order for it to be an actual scientific notation, the decimal point has to be in between a number between 1 and 10. Which it was not at the beginning. And then it was not at the end until we changed it. So you have to change it. Yes?
How'd you get 0 point right?
I divided it. Other questions? Okay, on to the back. I don't remember if it was this class or another class. Some of us did this correctly, some of us did not. We should have just been subtracting here, not multiplying. You could distribute the negative and rewrite it, and then combine like terms. So I'll do that. Some of you did this. Some of you did this straight from the parentheses, which was fine, as long as all of your signs were correct. So combining like terms, we have 2x squared minus x minus 2. So if you got anything other than that, you did something incorrect. So we were just subtracting, we are not combining exponents, your exponent should not change, we're not multiplying. So if you got those 3 terms, you got the 3 points. How did you get 1x? Negative 2 plus 1 is, what is negative 1? You distributed this negative to get a positive. Other questions? Okay. And then 6, if we're finding the area of this rectangle, that's length times width. Some of us were doing perimeter. So make sure you know perimeter is adding up all the sides. Area of a rectangle is length times width, which means we're multiplying these 2 things together. And because these are 2 sets of binomials being multiplied together, we have to multiply everything to everything. Some of us did that, some of us did not. So you could use your double distributive method, your FOIL, your box method, any of those. So this would be negative 18x squared plus 24xy plus 15xy minus 20y squared, and then combine like terms. So negative 18x squared plus 39xy minus 20y squared. So the 5 points on that were, did you get each of these 4 terms correct and the final answer? Questions on that one?
Why are they squares like 18 and 21?
Because we're multiplying like bases, so we're adding the exponents. Other questions? Any general questions?
Is there gonna be a no calculator section?
Not for this test.
Can we skip yours?
Hmm?
Can we skip yours?
That's what she just asked. Oh, we didn't see. Are there questions? If you have a specific question on something on your quiz, raise your hand, I'll be around. Otherwise, go ahead and clear off your desk.